Persian has a distinct, recognizable sound. Today we're gonna break down why, with examples because I like to tire myself out. And when I say we are going to learn why, I mean you are going to learn why, because I had to learn all this beforehand. Now, Persian's distinct sound comes from three things. Number one, it's clear vowels. For example, in the word kitab, meaning book. Number two, it's fricative heavy consonants. For example, shab, meaning night, or khane, meaning house. Number three, it's smooth and relatively even sentence rhythm. For example, man emruz miram dars bekhonam, which means today I'm going to study. That should make sense so far. Now, a completely other point. Persian has a quite interesting vowel system, right? Because they majorly keep their vowels fully pronounced. For example, when you look at English, you get what? You get the word photograph, and then you have photography. I'm sorry, about photograph and photography. You see the O disappears. Persians keep them. For example, in mohandes, meaning engineer, it's always mohandes, and it's never reduced, no matter the situation. And additionally, long vowels are common. For example, with baba, meaning dad, dunya, meaning world, or bini, meaning nose. This gives Persian a relatively clear vowel identity. Moving on, we have the consonants and the fricatives. Now, Persians use many fricatives. You might be wondering,
you've been using that word a lot. What does that even mean?
Fricatives means soft, flowing sounds. For example, shekast, meaning break, sob, meaning morning, fakr, meaning thought, khastan, meaning to want, and ghalib, meaning to mold or pattern. Quick side note, the letter, this one right here, it comes from Arabic, and there's a difference between the in Arabic and the in Persian. In Arabic, you'd say gharib, right? Gharib. You see how abrasive this letter is? Gharib. Extremely abrasive. And then you come to the Persian, gharib, right? It's the same letter, but right? I don't want to antagonize the Arabic language. It's also beautiful in its own way, but Persian is just lighter and softer in this regard. Moving on, you have syllable structure. Persians prefer simple syllables. For example, consonant plus a vowel. CV. Let's go with that. Ma, meaning we. Another format you'd encounter quite a lot is CVC. Consonant plus vowel plus consonant. Sorry, that is overly complicated. For example, bar, meaning on, or dad, meaning door. And you notice quite a difference between Persian and a language that you might already know, for example, English, right? In English, you have strengths. Chat, what is that? Chat, what are we doing? What is this word? It's an abomination. Or, for example, in German, Angstschweib. Is that even pronounced a B? I don't even know how to pronounce that. It means cold sweat, apparently. I don't know. But basically, you see, Persian avoids these clusters, and therefore it has smoother pacing. Again, not to antagonize English or German, although I believe they've been antagonized enough in history anyway. Just a language difference, just a linguistic difference. Moving on, you come to one of the most beautiful aspects of Persian that a lot of people notice: rhythm and intonation. You have syllable-timed rhythm in Persian, sometimes even considered beats. For example,
Man farda ba to miyam.
Tomorrow, I'll come with you. Where are we going? I don't know. But anyway, each syllable holds equal weight. English is a little bit different. English has stress timing. Let me give you an example. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. I don't know, the vowels are just kind of all over the place with that. I mean, I'm going to the store. And maybe it's partly because English is a mishmash of a bunch of random ass languages, but that's not the point. Again, in Persian, you have gentle rising intonation in questions. For example, Shoma koja hastid, meaning where are you? A question that I ask about my father on multiple occasions every single day. You have soft falling intonation in statements. There's a distinction between the gentle rising intonation in questions and the soft falling intonation in statements. For example, hava sard shode, or the weather's become cold. Hava sard shode. Now we come to a historian's favorite part. Historical layers. Persian today, as we know it, is a blend of multiple different influences. For example, you have Old Iranian, where you get words like madar, which means mother, or pedar, which means father, and Arabic, where you have elm, meaning knowledge in Persian, kitab, meaning book in Persian, both which come from ilm and kitab. You even have Turkic influences. For example, yahma, meaning lute or to lute. In modern Persian, though, you have something very interesting going on. There are even many loan words from French in modern Persian because of academia. For example, merci, meaning thanks, salan, meaning salon, or radio, meaning radio. These added vocabulary to the Persian language, but it didn't change Persian's core rhythm, because when a language exists and it borrows a word, it does not borrow the rules associated with the word. It just borrows the word itself, right? So it just kind of grabs it and ejects it into the language, like a little Frankenstein, like a little language Frankenstein, like a little linguistic Frankenstein. Moving on to something extremely large in the Persian language that you just cannot deny is the poetic traditions that have influenced the language itself. Classical poetry influenced how Persians prefer rhythm and balance. For example, here I have Hafez, who is a quite popular poet that is still acclaimed today. Del miravad zedastem. My heart is slipping from my hand. So you have the symmetric syllables and the smooth flow. And because of this, everyday phrases show quite a similar balance with the poetic, traditional type, beautiful, whatever. Basically, modern Persian has a lot of similarities with the flow of poetic Persian. For example, halet chetor, which simply means how are you, or esmet chia, meaning what's your name? My name is Rayan. I don't know, whatever. Now we come to quite an important point. Why do non-speakers of the Persian language seem to notice the sound and seem to understand the language that they're listening to? Once again, let me reiterate. Persian stands out because of the combination of its features, right? Its clear vowels, bazar, meaning market, its soft fricatives, shoma, meaning you, in the formal context, and its very, very moderate gutturals, ghazi, meaning judge. Again, not ghazi, no, that's Arabic, ghazi, very smooth, you know, whatever. I sound like I'm meat riding that language. Holy glaze. This entire video was just a Persian glaze. Moving on. It's smooth pacing. For example, man emruz soram shalagh bud. Today, I was busy, or I was busy today. Me personally, I was not busy today. I don't have a life. And it's relatively predictable intonation, right? For example, she should. What happened? And lastly, it's predictable intonation. For example, she should, meaning what happened? Lots of things have happened. Many things have happened. Anyway, basically, recognizability comes from the mix and not a single trait that you can just point out and say, I know it's Persian. No, it's a mix of different things, as which applies to a multitude of different languages. So, to recap everything I've just said, a TLDR, if you will, or a too long didn't watch, a TLDW. Basically, Persian sounds the way it does because of clear vowels, for example, in kitab. Fricatives, such as shab, meaning night. Simple syllables, for example, dad, meaning door. And a balanced rhythm. Man ferdomiyam, meaning I'll come tomorrow. Will I come tomorrow? Where am I going? Anyway, it's not mystical, it's structural. And because of the rich history that the Persians have had, because of coincidental and incidental steps in the language that they've had, they've just managed to create an extremely beautiful language. And that's why you have a 10-minute or more, probably not or more, I don't know how long this video has been going for, like a 10-minute video of me just absolutely glazing the shit out of this language. But it deserves it. It really does. Peak linguistics right here. Okay, bye. Have as didn't it خوش شدم or something, yeah.